Good morning. This is Elise, and the camera is definitely not on me right now. But then again, it is on me. What you see before you is just certificates from the organization American Counseling Association. And my whole name is spelled out with my degree. And I'm really excited that I've been a part of this organization for 4 years or going on 5 years or so. And, when you attend an institution of higher learning like College of New Rochelle, NIAC, um, Alliance School of Counseling, or you attend Yale University or Columbia University, Baruch College, or Brooklyn, Lehman, City College, or SUNY New Paltz, any one of the institutions of higher learning, and you complete the course of study, you are entitled. You have been given and earned the right to use your, how would we say it, your course of study um, degree in connection with whatever your choice of employ would be. So, what I'm saying is that I have a master's degree in science, and my focus or course of study has been career development and counseling. But even prior to coming to um, College of New Rochelle, I had been accepted at NIAC and had already uh, completed at City College um, in music, English, and 2 years at Brooklyn College, music, and Baruch College, I think a year or so on the purchasing management track for healthcare, and as well as the art of negotiation, inventory control, healthcare management, purchasing one and two, and already had completed a year at Lehman College on the therapeutic recreation track. And there's other things. But what I'm saying is that when you complete a course of study, these are, all of the things that are like under your belt. You've accomplished these things, so you have a right to say, yes, I have a master's degree in this or that, or I have a master's degree, and to be able to explain what it is that your master's degree covers, as it pertains to course of study. And then what it boils down to is your choice of employer or where you want to go with it, having these things under your belt. You may have a variety of choices. So my choice, for a lifetime, even in the course of acquiring these skills and, you know, the education, um, has always been entrepreneurial, you know. And I started my first company, which was a corporation, in like 1984. And my credentials in terms of the state and everything, my EIN number, didn't come through until 1985, but it wasn't a long, like a whole year. We started in 84, but early in 85, we had our EIN numbers and so forth. And it was just actually myself. And not too many people knew what I was doing, but I was doing a lot of work in music and, and so forth. And then my mom was into um, job developing and, for a lifetime with Manpower and South Bronx Community Corporation. But of course, I was young, and I think at the time that I was in my 20s, she had already moved on to the Agency for Child Development, which used to be at 109 Cedar Lane. So some people, which I don't know how they could, but some people may have it twisted where they think that, the company that I started included my mom, at that time. But here's the thing, I would always give credit where credit is due in terms of the upbringing mhm, that I received and that my brother received at home because mom set the tone. She set the tone for work, for ethics. She set the tone, for paying bills. She set the tone in the house. It was no joke. You understand? And she was an entrepreneur herself in her own right. And what she did actually was she sold candy. She wasn't involved in music or, production and development. None of that. None of that at all. But she supported me in the sense of whatever it is that you want to do, not a problem. So at a young age, I was traveling to Europe and making decisions. I was traveling all over the place, California, you name it, West Indies. At 20 something, but see, mom set the tone for us because she had both of us traveling from young. So Haiti, Venezuela, Grenada, Martinique, St. Thomas, you just name it. We have pretty much, not all over the world, but we've been a lot of places. Mexico, Nassau. We've just been a lot of places. And it continues. It continues. But her being an entrepreneur, you know, um, all by herself, she sold candy. And not only did she sell candy, but prior to that, always creative, always creative. Lots of people didn't know that she could draw. She drafted. She used to like to do like bridges and tunnels and that kind of drafting work. hmm But not only that, she also did on the creative side as well. Um, Doilies, those are those crocheted uh, lay pieces that go on the table. And I had one here, and it's interestingly enough, it's not there in the closet. Doilies, and they look beautiful on the table. Back in the day, you would see maybe people born in, well, people 20s, 30s, 40s, something like that. You would see like maybe a candy dish sitting on this beautiful, like little cover, just beautifully crocheted, with just thin thread and a very, very small needle. And I was so fortunate to have some of her needles, the smaller ones, that she would use when she crocheted. And mom could also knit. Oh my God. She crocheted and she knit to perfection. No strings hanging, no, just beautiful. And that was actually how she paid for my piano. I happen to have still with me, and I think we had this from the age of 13, a Baldwin Howard upright piano. Baldwin Howard. And yeah, it goes with me wherever. Right now, it's in need of repair. It's got a lot of stuff on it. Doesn't mean that I don't care about it. There's a lot of history, a lot of good and bad. Oh, God. A lot of music that came out of it. And it's just an extension of me and the things that I've gone through and actually still go through. But my intention is to get it back to a greater working condition, and then, at the right time, pass it on, or, do whatever it is that I'm led to do with it. So mom bought that for me, and she used to crochet with, as I stated, these really small hooks with the cotton thread, and then with the regular yarn, the lion heart, and some of the other brands and so forth, thicker hooks, crochet hooks. And then knitting, she used to knit with the two needles, not the one that is connected in the middle, like with a wire, because, some people prefer to use that, like Miss Kelsey. She didn't really knit with the separated needles. She knitted with the needle that had the two ends that were joined in the middle by like a wire, or a wire type, which kind of sort of made it easy for her perhaps. And so mom had all kinds of crochet books and knitting books and the whole nine, and bunch of needles and so forth. But that was her thing. And she was awesome. She did also these covers, that went over bottles, like wine bottles, and uh, uh, other types of liqueurs and different things like that, and they were great sellers, especially, for the holidays, people wanting to do something different. So she would crochet these poodles, and the poodle head and the poodle bottom, which would slide right up on top of from the bottom of the bottle up, and then the top would be the head of the poodle with the ears and the eyes and the mouth. Beautiful. But she also crocheted blankets and hats and scarves and to perfection. And there are many people still today, I'm sure, that have some of what it is that she crocheted and she sold. So that was her gig, and she had her 1099, and that's a simple thing to do. If you are a sole proprietor doing business, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have, a corporation. I mean, that would be your choice based upon what you would see is or what you would think that your entrepreneurial endeavor would be. So doing business as for her, just filing a 1099 was pretty much all she felt she needed. And on the candy business side, she carried a briefcase, and I still have her briefcase. And she would just sit and pack candy, you know, um, peppermints. I don't know if she did Reese's, but the hard candy like the butterscotch, and some of the other candies that we all love or loved at one time. And she would go through the neighborhood in different little places. I don't mean like open up in the street, like, got this candy here, y'all. No, she carried that little briefcase, and when she went to meetings in different places, she sold her candy. She was on the board of directors at Lucille Murray Child Development Center. She was very active in Help Our Own with the union. She was a union member of DC 37. Very big time, very, very big time, with helping many of the union members that, had issues or just needed help. That's what it was about. Help our own. And I was so blessed blessed, blessed, blessed beyond measure, and fortunate to meet some of the people, the other union members that she helped, and I don't think it was just geared toward union members only. It could have been union members and their families, and maybe other extensions. I'm not sure. But I was so blessed to meet a gentleman that lived in Brooklyn, and because I reached out to the union, and of course they were like, "Wow, Miss Reynolds," because she had passed away and so forth, or she was maybe sick at the time. And what I did was, like I said, got in touch, and they gave me the name and contact numbers of some of her clients, and one of them was, a wheelchair bound gentleman, and got to meet him in person, and went out to visit him at his home and spent some time with him. Oh my God. And when I called him, I said, I am the daughter of Miss Reynolds. He said, "What?" I said, "Yes, I hope you don't mind. I'm calling because," and just wanted to let. He was like, "Oh my God, Miss Reynolds. Oh, oh, oh." And I said, "Do you mind if I maybe come out and visit you and we talk a little bit?" He was like, "Not a problem." And I got myself together and went out to visit him. And oh, what a time. This man was phenomenal. And he was wheelchair bound, pretty much in a wheelchair. And he was, you know, doing some great feats at home. He was actually cooking like macaroni and cheese and collard greens and all this stuff. I said, "What in the world?" And he was in his motorized wheelchair in the house, just moving back and forth from the kitchen to the living room. And I'm like, "What?" And it smells so good. Oh my God. Beautiful person, just beautiful time. And it made me feel so good, to know that, even, up until the time that she, passed away, she was still very much influential, you know, in the community, and about, even through her union connection, because she's always, mom always had this thing about helping people, to get from point A to point Z, just being a help in general, with all love and sincerity, truly. And I still today meet people who go, "I miss your mom, and your mom did this, your mom helped me get my job, and she helped me get back on my feet, and this and this and that." And here it is. I'm 63 years old, and my God, it's just such a blessing, to know that she had that kind of impact. And I mean, to hear it from the very people that she affected and affected in some kind of way, And I have to give a shout out right here to Carmen Allende, which they were, grassroots community people, and very, very good friends and relatives. And I still talk to her today. And oh my God, it's just marvelous. It's just beautiful. I mean, and her and mommy traveled, her mommy and Corey traveled together and so forth. And she was also honored at some point at Patterson Houses, the development with which we grew up and lived. Carmen Allende. And then there were other people that were also connected. Carmen Arroyo, oh my God, Cecil Joseph, Miguel Canones, Angel Pagan, Laudalina Perez. That's everybody knows Laudalina Perez, Monroe College. I mean, and the list goes on. The list goes on and on and on. And I'm telling you, just to know, that mom had these connections, with these people for a lifetime. And her impact and influence was widespread, not just out there, but in the house, just setting the tone, And then, also life happens. So it doesn't mean that, we're just immune to the things that happen in life, that sometimes cause there to be change, whether good or bad. It happens, but it doesn't negate, it never would negate all the good, all the good. And there's this thing um, in the Bible, it says, let not your good be evil spoken of. And for a long time, I used to think that what that meant is, that we should never let anybody else speak evil of the things that we do that are good. And today I have a totally different take on what that particular scripture says. And it is for me that we're not supposed to speak evil of what it is that we do that is good. So, in other words, other people can say whatever it is that they want as long as we know the good that we've done. We don't have to, agree with what anybody else says or even be upset at what they say, because we don't have to defend ourselves for what we've already accomplished that is good. And we can leave it alone, because what we've done, even as far as, having under our belt through education, through interaction with other people, through just on a daily basis, whatever it is, even if it's a phone call, whatever it is, even if it's just passing out a flyer with some information, handing over something, that might have been meant for you or me, and passing along that information, that's something good. And even to the most minuscule of things, we don't have to get upset when other people talk about it as bad, especially when we know that so many people benefited from what we have done that is absolutely good. And we have to understand or consider that people are always going to come against. There's always going to be that faction that will come against what it is that is done, and has been done that is good. And they know that it's good. They can look at it and see it, but, for their own reasons, perhaps of jealousy, insecurity, or need for accolades or accreditation for work that they did not do, that you may have done or whatever, they would cause, the opposite, to happen in terms of how they explain or express what it is that you've created. So, in other words, they could go the vein of, well, she was under this category of personal classification, and we were the ones who helped her or helped him, or all those different kinds of things that it may not even look like it's an evil, applied to a good, but that maybe you, the person like myself who developed this or who created this, falls in the vein of someone that could not do any of these things by themselves. And that's sad. It's sad for anyone to want to, you know, put such an untruth out there, especially when for yourself that everything you've done on your own, and you worked hard to achieve what you have. So, that there in a nutshell is like where the influence came from, as it pertains to my going to school, and just being, a part of, this particular organization, American Counseling Association, that, you know, inhabits not just mental health, but also career development, or the counseling professions, the counseling mentorship professions. Okay. So, I mean, it's a wonderful thing to belong to a um, organization that is a professional organization, says a whole lot. And they tell you, when you go to school, that connecting yourself to these organizations and things that are, you know, very much an extension of the educational track that you take, only gives you greater credibility and access to other people, places, and things that help to enhance your career, enhance your knowledge and your skill, and provides a place where, whatever it is that you have, even on the entrepreneurial side, it can be, accessible to other people. And I've been now for a few years, but with that, life has happened, and I try to do as much as I can. Sometimes I do a marathon. I've done a marathon with the CEs and different things, and at the same time trying to hold it down, in dealing with uh, health challenges, and then putting some things, you know, not really to say back on track, but furthering the track, as it pertains to what was started many years ago. So my first corporation was Creative Mind Inc. at the age of 24. And music is really my life. Music, the creative arts is really a part of me. Oh my God, just engulfed me so much, And I did a project, at least in the morning, which we received a billboard, December 16th, 1989, uh, recommended single by Bill Coleman. And the project came out on my label, which was Creative Mind Inc. And I tell you, had it not been for organizations at that time like NARIS, National Academy of Recording Arts and Science, um, or the Black Music Association. Oh my God, I can't even think of some of the other ones. There's a few others that are there. I'll probably come back again and give you the names of some, but at least those two, and then spin-offs from like the Black Music Association in connection with the record labels, RCA, A&M, Arista, and CBS, Sony. I mean, we had access to these particular, you know, um, recording companies and, production facilities. And oh man, we had access to everything. Could you imagine that the acts and artists that were around at that time gathered? I mean, we were always having a conference or something going on where we were learning about the business of music and performing and, just trying to get the craft and everything together. Lisa Nicole Jam, Full Force. It was a number of people. I mean, just a lot. And then with that connection, there was, some political events that went on, and we all kind of went out there. I think around that time was the Jesse Jackson for President campaign, and yours truly was performer at that campaign. Oh my God, what an honor! And then many of us, traveled also. We were connected with Naris, as I stated, went to the Grammys, went to the Essence Awards, the NAACP Awards, and oh my God, the Country Music Awards. We just did so much. And I'm telling you, when you have organizations like that, sometimes the road can be much easier, in learning. And then you're around others, of like passion, and love for the arts, and entertainment and so forth. And you glean from each other. You glean from each other. I mean, literally. And I mean, I did Jack the Rapper, tracking with Jack. And I mean, look, listen, we were out there and we had great fun. So shout out to Janie and Conrad and Deb, and oh, there were so many of us. Fred McFarlane, he's not with us anymore, but oh my God, and just I think Dawu And I don't know if I saw something where someone by the name of Dawood passed away, but I'm not sure if it was the same one that I knew. Lisa Dean, and oh my God, just there's a host of us that were, kind of connected in various ways, through the organizations and just through music, and the whole scene. So it was awesome. Again, really awesome. So, you know, not only was that era in my life important, one more thing I want to say about Norris, and these organizations, when you're connected, you also give back, and like we did a lot of stuffing of the gift bags and pre-telecast escort work at the Grammys, and I think I've been to the Grammys about 4 times, maybe 4 or 5 times, maybe, and in New York and as well as Los Angeles and so forth, and been to many of the record companies and so forth. And like I said, you give back by, um, volunteer, volunteering, and tickets are paid for. Oh, we pay for tickets, and a lot of times we also got to get in free because of the volunteer efforts, and then just being a part, of everything. We're a part of it and we're listed. I mean, I still have the bulletin and stuff from the Grammys, and my name is in the bulletin for 86. I don't have any of the other ones, but and I mean I've been to the after parties and just had great times, been around a lot of the, celebrities and so forth, and was so blessed to meet Andre Crouch. So blessed to meet Andre Crouch and talk to him. I think it was the Grammys of '86, and then Jennifer Holliday and BB King, you know, um, and the list goes on and so forth. Many other people at the after parties. So I don't have to name anybody, but I'm just saying, these organizations, you know, being a part of them, play a grand role, in, enhancing and furthering, you know, endeavors in life, career endeavors, whether or not it be entrepreneurial or not, and having this kind of association with people, you bring something to the table and they bring something to the table, and like the kids say, it's on and popping. And then you don't know who they know, and they don't know also who you know. And so the connection continues. You get connected. That's the whole thing. Getting connected with one another, people, places, and things. And shout out to Anthony Roberts, by the way. He's a young man that I met at the age, I think he was 18 years old. I believe he was about 18 or 19. And stellar audio engineer. Stellar. Worked on a few projects with me, and Tim Geelan was another one. CBS Sony, Tim Geelan. Everybody knows Tim. My God. Uh, Rolling Stones, Beatles, and he has just like this grand track record and so forth. And just meeting him through school. Oh, I forgot. I went to the new school, and he was actually my instructor in audio engineering, the great Tim Geelan, and solid state logic board and Neve console. So these things are what I have under my belt, but I know that I don't believe that any of these things would have came about if I hadn't had, these other organizations, that were there to drop knowledge on me, and to expose me to so much. And I mean, the record executives were all there. Shout out to Hilda Williams, Sylvia Rohn and Benny Medina. And oh my God, I mean, it was phenomenal. Just really awesome. So, as I stated, it's a good thing, to be involved with these professional organizations that can only help to make your entrepreneurial life or your career life that much better, that much better. And like right now, I'm preparing, to attend the conference and expo 2024 for the American Counseling Association. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be held at the convention center. um, I can't remember the name of it right now. Oh my God. But if you look on Facebook on my page, you'll see some information. But you can also go to www.counseling.org and get all the information that you need, with regard to the conference and expo, which is going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana. Hey, shout out. Oh, we're excited, really about that. And they're going to cover lots of ground, exhibitors and speakers and wellness. Did you know that wellness or self care plays a humongous role in how we are able to manage from day to day, from moment to moment, from millisecond to millisecond, in the career paths that we've chosen? So it's not just the counseling, it's everything across the board. I mean, look, we're striving for mental ease, the me, simply me. We're striving for those things. So it's important to, apply, and incorporate, wellness techniques, to our everyday lives and existence so that we can be here for the long haul and function, well in the various career paths that we've chosen. And not only that, if for some reason there's maybe a little bit of downtime where we're not doing some things, because it happens, sometimes we need a break, you know, which is part of the me thing. But then again, sometimes there's some external forces or things going on that, you know, um, may cause us to be away from, you know, our various modes of employ, whether or not it's, entrepreneurial or just in general. And we need that time, to be, working on who we are and what we are and how we are. Do you realize how I said that? Who we are, what we are, and how we are, minus the educational piece. And what I mean, who we are, like maybe doing some things like listening to some soft music. That's who we are. For some, of us, it's me just taking some time to do some of the things that I like to do. Even in the midst of other things going on, just 5 minutes here or 10 minutes there. And some people say, well, maybe that's not enough time. Listen, whatever time you can grab and snatch for self, do it. You'll be surprised at what the effect or effect might be on you. So listening to some music, taking a nice bath and lighting some candles, maybe cooking your favorite meal and just enjoying it. It may be even just to reach out to some other people just to say hello. You just never know. Whatever it is that, is the positive that will help you to wind down, have mental ease and, you know, alleviate stress and strain and all of that. Important. That is an important engage. Who we are, what we are, how we are. Right now, how I am is I'm taking some time out to talk to you, and it's my pleasure. And guess what? I don't feel tight. And for me, that is, oh God, such a blessing. See, what you don't know is that I had a major surgery a few years back. Major. And, anytime you have, a spinal cord injury, it affects everything. So, one of the things that I had to deal with, you know, as a result of the surgery is just this tightness. I mean, just out of the blue. And I could feel it, but didn't know how to arrest it. You know what I'm saying? Because the nerves, whoo, are just so delicate and so just fragile. You know, everything is affected nerve wise when it comes to the spine, the spinal cord, you know? And so just to be tight and don't know how to like stop it, like I can feel it coming, but what do I do? You know, and I'm like, "Ugh." And I still move about every day, you know, and now I'm more aware of like when it happens, how it happens, and you know, at the place 3 years or 2 years later, what is it, 26, 22, 23, 24, almost 3 years later, uh, have, you know, gotten some techniques and therapeutic services, physical therapy that helps me tremendously. Oh my God. And I see some triggers. Oh my God, just and you know the nerves are waking up again, you know, so it's a process. And the most beautiful thing in the world is that i'm walking I'm walking. Oh my God, I'm walking. So what a blessing that is. And somebody said, well, wait a minute, how does all of that play into what you were just talking about? Well, it's important for me, even though, you know, I am a mentor, counselor, therapist, to take good care of me. And that's exactly what I do. Exactly. And if I gotta let her rip, I'm gonna let her rip. You know, and it's a part of the therapeutic process, you know, to apply self-care, you know, techniques and ways and all of that, you know, that will help us again to enhance, you know, our lives, you know, as practitioners, as musicians, vocalists, singers, whatever it is that you're involved with. I mean, across the board, self care, wellness. I like to call it wealth wise health. It is important. It is very, very important. So I developed, you know, on the career development track, you know, this career life program some years ago. And I sent it out to one of my former professors, Dr. Kenneth Doka, which everybody knows if you have, we used to say, you got Doka? What? Oh, he's no joke. Dr. Kenneth Doka, wow, what an experience. Everything was just great. And I had sent it to him, and he told me that it was really good, that he wanted me to try to flesh it out a little more. And I didn't get to the place of actually doing it. Life happened and so forth. But I sent it to him. I sent it out to another great professor, Dr. Fogel, which was on the KSAC track for me. And he sent me a beautiful book, you know, that helped me a whole lot, you know, with regards to putting some things together with that career life and career development plan program, you know, plan program. And I also sent it to the New York Public Library at Mount Haven. There was a Miss Thomas that was there, and I shared it with her. I also sent it to WBLS um, because my goal at that time was to try to implement, you know, this plan, you know, in various places because I felt it was well needed, you know, so radio, you know, educational wise, you know, over at the library. And I also submitted it to um, just a portion of it to the development, Patterson Houses, where I lived. And, you know, when you get this kind of knowledge, I mean, you just don't keep it to yourself. So this was one of the things that I did in putting it together, and I presented it to, I think her name is Miss Sampson or Miss Simpson. I think it's Sampson, and she was the TA president at the time. And just like kind of a chart, and I think a survey and a little bit of a breakdown, and I said to her I would love to present this at some point. And it took really like so long. I mean, I didn't hear anything, and every now and then I would see her because she lived in the next building. I go, "Oh, what's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I'll let you know." Okay, fine. So I get a call, like maybe one morning, like right before some event or something was happening at the center. It's like, "Oh, well, can you come down and present this or talk about it?" And in my heart of hearts, the answer was no. And maybe somebody else would have jumped to it, like, "Oh yeah, sure." I I didn't feel it was the best thing, to just be called um, like that, and I had no communication, as to where we were going with it, or who she presented it to, or who was going to be there. But here's the thing: I am very much an impromptu, spontaneous person, and under some other circumstances, I probably would have said yes. So for me to just, and I have no idea, will jump up, I have no idea. I mean, what are the chances of, you know, what the outcome might be, or who I'm facing, or not that I was not prepared, but to know, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, what is this? Who is it? You know, and given the benefit of the doubt, maybe it is that she just thought it would be just a nice thing at that moment. And but in my heart of hearts, it was no. If there's something else, then I'd be more than happy you know um, to do it. I had no communication, no nothing, not from even from the library. I had spoken to Miss Thomas. I went over there a couple of like, well, they didn't review it yet, or blah, blah, blah. It's never heard anything. So like and I'm saying this to say that when you put your heart in something, when you put all of you into something, you know, sometimes opportunities just appear. They do. They really do. And it's never really for me that I'm going to move just because I have to have all of the details. No, it's not that. But here's the thing, you know, having to put things, in perspective for me in terms of movement, which means for me, it is confirming. So if I don't get that confirmation here, now if it's just a little bit before, how am I situated? Can I do it? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I have something else to do. And and then we have to also think of, you know, did they know this event was going to be? So if they knew that it would be, then maybe the night before, or even if it had to be 7 o'clock in the morning, you know, I could have gotten up and got myself together and came down and did what needed to be done. And I didn't even know like what kind of time frame, or who it was, or what the event was, or and you don't have to know everything all the time, But just given the circumstances, some things, are used as can be used as a parameter. Like, okay, so it's going to happen at 12. Would you be able to come down at 12:30? And it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and expound on your program, and the people that would be there would be, and here are the parameters. If I don't get any of these things, you know what I'm saying? Then what could I say? I don't know. It could have been I don't know, a soccer game. I don't know. But at any rate, I'm grateful, but it just did not turn up into anything until today. So I was on the website of New York City Housing Authority, and I saw some various portions of descriptions, and I was like, okay, wow, interesting. And I just came off of the website, and I don't know anyone who has partaken, in the program or attended the programs or whatever. Like they have this career development thing and these different things going on and so forth. And I don't know. I really don't know. But I know from that point on, I've not gotten another feedback or anything with regard to the program that I presented to Miss Sampson, or the brief, program that I presented. But I'm excited for them. I am. And what I had done also was provided my, um, so to speak, career information, my school information, to the development. I presented those things or sent them in for my file, just to have credibility in, the things that, I have done and that I partake in, with regard to my entrepreneurial and my career life endeavors, you know, some of which I've already been involved in for a long time, and then going forward, the things that I plan to do, but I've never had a conversation. They've never, well, would you come in and sit down and talk to us about what you have and what you're doing, or whatever? Never. It was just that one incident. I don't want to say incident, instance, that one instance. And from the library, I didn't hear anything. And from WBLS, I didn't hear anything. And but this is life. This is what happens. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will never happen, but even if it doesn't, we move forward. We continue to move forward, because when you don't receive answers, it doesn't mean that the door has been shut. It just means that sometimes that door is not supposed to open at that time. And then it also means that when you send something out, either it could have gone in the garbage or it could have been used, but you just don't know it. But at some point along the way, you just may get a download. You just may get information, where you'll see that portions of what you've done have been used. So I can say, what a blessing. What a blessing. What a blessing. And we still continue to move forward in life. hmm And so grateful I am, thankful I am. And you know what? I am so happy that I've been at the place in my life for a long time where I know who my source is. I know in whom I trust. And most importantly, I know who I am. And even though others may want to look at certain things, in another manner or have another connotation to the very things, or apply another connotation to the very things that I have been involved with, and involved in and have established, developed, or created, what could I do about it? There's nothing that I could do but to just continue on because of the fact that I know who I am, where I'm going, and I know where I've been. And I also know that whatever it is that is my goal going forward, the how is never going to be a problem because my source, all engaged and involved and intertwined within my source, is the how that I'm going to get there. Did I say that right? The how that helps me to understand the way that I'm going to get there. So, again, listen, in whatever career or career life endeavor you've set out to accomplish, or even those things that you're involved in right now, make sure you connect yourself to programs and professional organizations, that will help to build you up, lift you up, you know, um, fortify you, you know, in the ways that you should go. And not only that, on the educational side, always learning. You're never too old to learn. It doesn't matter whether or not you have a PhD, a master's degree. It doesn't even matter if you don't have a degree. But if you really feel like you want to counsel, you want to be a counselor, you want to be a therapist, you want to be a singer, you want to be a songwriter, let nothing stop you. Nothing and no one stop you. We all had to start at some place. We all started at some place. We had to start. We have to start. And we started at some place. And it just goes forward. So keep on moving. Go forward. We have the National Career Development Association. We also have the American Counseling. And for the music people, I think there's another organization now, um, Black, I don't know if it's Black Music. I saw it the other day, and I might not have the name correct or whatever, but there's another music organization that's out there now, National R&B Music or something. I mean, look, Google it and get involved. Get involved so that you can have some supports behind you and you can grow and thrive and continue to be successful. Success does not necessarily equate to money. It's not money or just tangible things. It's how you see yourself. And even if you never got $1 zillion, do you consider yourself successful? I'm successful. I don't care what nobody says. I'm successful, you know? And remember that people will always stack you up to be what they see you to be, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you got to believe what they say, especially when you know who you are and you know what it is about you that you see. And then if you have sight beyond what you see, there's no telling what you can become. You see, you have to be before you become. You have to be a wife before you become a wife. You have to be a counselor before you become a counselor. Somebody said, well, what is she talking about? You have to roll in that vein. You have to know that you know. You heard that before? Know that you know from the inside out that this is what you are. And as you move along with that knowledge, you are learning, you're grasping, you are engaging in all of those things that help you to become the very thing that you knew that you were from the beginning. When you're a child, mom said for some of us, you can be whatever it is that you want to be, and you if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish and all these different things. So why is it that some people feel like, to say that you are before you become is a problem or it's not real? No, I believe, this is just me, that you have to be that thing before you become it, because it's all about mindset. You ever seen a little kid and they're like, "Oh, mom, I want a lab coat. I want that white coat. I want that stethoscope." What do you call what, a stethoscope? Because they go to the doctor. What is that around your neck? What is that? Inquisitive children, and they say, "I'm a doctor. I'm a I'm a painter. I'm a you know." So they're already in the role of what it is they want to be at that time. Come on, they're in the role. So when you get that easy bake oven for your daughter or your son, and they flipping fake hamburgers and cheese and bread and all that kind of thing, don't laugh at that stuff. They're already trying to tell you something. You know what I'm saying? And it may change along the way, but it doesn't mean that that thing that they started with is not a passion already. My granddaughter, my niece granddaughter, oh my God, when I saw her just a year ago, I think it was, she saw me walking with my cane, and she went and got some kind of stick. She was 2 years old. She went and got a stick and mimicked me, walked with me with her stick. I said, "What?" Not only did she do that, she took the stick and started twirling it. I mean, like with excellence. I mean, the stick was bigger than her. Now, child of 2 years old, you wouldn't think, well, for some people, you would not even think, you wouldn't expect that kind of literal precision and control of a device. So she started twirling, and I could see her like twirling the baton and just so effortlessly doing this thing. I was blown away. I was blown away. Oh my God. And then I had a knapsack, and my knapsack had to be all of 15 pounds. She took the knapsack and pulled it across from one side of the room to the other. I said, what the strong? I said, and like moving it for me. Oh, I mean, is she going to be an entertainer? A career arts person? Is she going to be, someone, in the vein of helps? You know, I'm telling you, she's gifted, very gifted. And then when I saw her work with her computer, she just said shh and put her finger up, like, okay, quiet, everybody. And she took her little computer and just, I said, oh my God, by herself. And I was really blown away. I was so excited and like, man, she's so smart. She really was so smart. And for her to see me, like literally for the first time, and immediately she went and grabbed a stick. I was walking with my cane. She grabbed the stick and started to walk with me. Like, I got you. I'm with you. That thing blessed my heart so, oh God, it blessed me. And we just never know, from that point on, the impact or the influence that she's going to make. I see great things. I do. I see great things for her. Great, great, great things for her. She's only 2, but look at where she is right now. Look at how she just connects, you know what I'm saying, situation and where she fits in and oh my God. And what she can do when she's showing you, oh, beautiful. So, like I said, we can be before we become, and that's what we should do. Be it before you become it. To be it sets the tone. And as you become it, it becomes more or is more just uh, a blessing, and more of a satisfactory thing for you. You become satisfied. You become you're it before you become it. And when you become it, it's satisfied. You're satisfied. You know what I'm saying? And you always knew it, but you're now satisfied. Isn't that a great thing to be satisfied in the place of entrepreneurship, in the place of, employ, in the place of your endeavors, satisfied, in the place of, you know, your choice, or in the place of choice for your life, satisfied. And you want that in every area. You want to be satisfied. And if you're not in, in some ways or maybe in a few things, then you seek that satisfaction. Go to the conference and expo 2024, New Orleans, Louisiana, for the American Counseling Association, or go to those other different events and, organizational, you know, um, endeavors, or shows and those organizational uh, um, activities, events. That's what I was looking for. Affairs, events, those things that will continue to help you grow, you know, and continue in the vein of becoming more than what you've been. hmm So, look, this is Elise, and I'm signing out. And I know it's got to be after 4 in the morning, but again, it's okay. It really is okay. It's my pleasure. So, you enjoy the rest of your day. See beyond what you see.